Hi, I'm Judy. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga and today's practice to help you let go of grief, of sadness, maybe depression, and also open up your heart, open up your chest, create space to bring in something else. You will need lots of props today, although you can do this practice with just a couple of blocks as well. We're going to use the wall. That can be optional, it's up to you. And let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and gather those props and meet me back on your mat. Let's come into your space and time right now. Let go of anything that came before. Letting go is really the theme of this practice. And begin to notice your breath. Relax your forehead. Allow your jaw to softly open. Maybe roll your shoulders round, down, and up, and then let them drop down. Just trying to let go of tension in your body so that you can sit for a few moments here. The intention I am offering to you today, as I said, was to make space, to open up the upper back and the chest areas. We don't get into a whole lot generally in Yin Yoga. Continue breathing in and out through your nose. Feeling your spine growing taller, more space between every vertebrae in your spine. Notice how when you sit up straight, it's easier to take deep breaths. I want to share this quote from you. It's from Bubbles, The Wire. And it says, "Ain't no shame in holding on to grief, as long as you make room for other things too." And I think that's so true. Grief is important. It's okay to grieve. In fact, it's important to grieve. But when we grieve to the exclusion of feeling the rest of our feelings and being present in our lives, it's not a good thing. Go ahead and close your eyes. And bring one hand to your heart, one to your belly. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth, making a s sound. Like a snake hissing. So inhale. And inhale. And continue on. And this practice is related to the metal element in traditional Chinese medicine. There are 5 elements. This is the last one that I'm sharing of this series. We've done 5, all at the wall. And you'll find up here a link to a playlist with the previous ones. So if you'd like to explore any that you've missed, you might like to do that. And the ss sound is also associated with the metal element. Grief and sadness, maybe depression, are also associated with the metal element when it's out of balance. Now go ahead and grab something to sit on. I have a blanket that I'm sitting on right now. And I'm going to try and show this to you before I turn to the wall. We're starting with a pretty simple revolve twist. And in fact, I'm going to do it with my back towards the wall. You might even want to scooch back and have your back on the wall. Then inhale, take your left hand to your right knee, and then take that arm, stretch it out, your right arm, stretch it out on the wall. You can also do this facing the wall. So you could be just sitting on your blanket in an easy cross-leg position that's comfortable for you. And you could be revolving and having your hand on the wall. I'm going to have my back against the wall. Using our back against the wall, it's a nice way to get a little work on our posture. And also, once again, to open up through our upper body. And you may even like to take and put your hand, this hand, on a block. But I'm good with it. You put it upright by your knee. I'm good with just holding onto my knee. Just experiment with it. See what works for you. And if any time you'd like to return that sound that I shared with you at the beginning, the little sound, feel free. On your exhale, last couple of breaths here. And let's do a little counter stretch towards the left. And a couple of breaths here. And then reach that left arm on the wall. Your right arm is on the left knee. Little twist. What are you making peace for today? Making space for today. Peace, that's an option. Calm, patience, empathy, happy memories, time for self-care. What are you making space for today? And the last couple of breaths here. And a little counter twist to the other side, opposite side. Couple of breaths here. If you're using a blanket to sit on, I'm going to suggest to roll it maybe even a little smaller. You may not need it. Actually, I'm going to leave it, I think, at this height. And we're going to come into a squat at the wall. Using the wall to help bring yourself upright. Now, if your heels are popping far off the floor, you may like that towel underneath them. You can also take your legs much wider apart, point your toes out to either side. That might help as well. Oh, just sliding down the wall there. Just a nice way to get into a squat and keep a nice straight back. In this squat pose, it has nothing to do with our upper back, a little bit with our lower back. You may feel a little bit there. But it is about releasing and letting go, which is something that nature shows us every single year. We go through winter where it's barren, spring where there's rebirth and growth, summer where everything comes to ripeness, and then back into autumn. We let it all go to begin that cycle all over again. And it happens every single year. See if you can get your shoulder blades onto the wall and your low back onto the wall. Once again, making space for nice, deep breaths. The lungs are the organ that is associated with the metal element, one of the organs. And that's why this practice is targeting our upper back so that we can breathe deeply. Take in fresh energy and let go of the things that are no longer serving us. You can also sit on a block here. Last couple of breaths here. And then go ahead and put your hands down on your mat or your towel and slowly begin to move your feet forward and gently bring yourself down. Go ahead and come off of your blanket if you have it, and go ahead and put it approximately a foot and a half from the wall. You'll have to play around with it once we get into position. Bring one hip to the wall, then slowly come down onto elbows, and then swing your legs up the wall. Just for a little counter here, legs up the wall, and take that blanket underneath your head. I'm gonna move my bolster away a little bit. And just take a few moments to notice energy moving through you anywhere it may be stuck. Good information to have. Now you have a choice here to stay in legs up the wall. I'm also going to offer shoulder stand. But of course, I can't see you to make any suggestions and make sure that you're safe. If you're pregnant, if you have something like glaucoma where you can't have pressure in your head, if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure, then I do not suggest that you do shoulder stand at all. And then I suggest you stay in legs up the wall. But if none of those conditions or contraindications apply to you, go ahead and bend your knees. Take the soles of your feet to the floor and begin to raise your hips. And walk your left feet up a little bit. And the chin comes into the chest. If this feels like too much, go back, drop back into legs up the wall. Last couple breaths here if you're in shoulder stand. And very gently to walk your feet down the wall. Bringing your body back to your mat and scooching closer to the wall, once again into the legs, up the wall for a short rebound. Again, notice any energy moving throughout your body. Let's all join together in legs up the wall for a moment. And last couple of breaths here. And then slowly take your feet to the wall. Stretch one arm out and allow your knees to fall towards that arm. Our next pose will require several props and a little bit of setup, but it will feel very yummy. So go ahead and take a bolster if you have it. Place it perpendicular to your wall, a little bit down your mat. Roll up some towels, some blankets, or if you have a small bolster like I do, go ahead. Everything will need to be adjusted once you lay down. Go ahead and put it a little bit away from the wall. And finally, go ahead and take that folded blanket. I'm going to move my bolster a little closer here. Move that bolster a little down. Take your blanket a little bit away from the end of your bolster. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I apologize for that. And a couple of blocks could be used here. A couple of blocks with a towel over could be used instead of the bolster. Okay. So get on top of the bolster. Take your ankles over the smaller bolster or the rolled up blankets, whatever you have, and begin to lay back on your bolster. And then take, I actually don't have quite enough room. I need to scooch down a little bit anyway, just a little bit. Now you can lay back so that your head is on the bolster. That is one option. You can also let it come down off the bolster and onto that blanket. Press your feet into the wall. So I still need to readjust, get everything a little closer, which works because now you can see me a little better. We want to press our feet right into the wall. Bring the ankles down on some rolled blankets, a couple blocks, And then take the arms up into goalpost arms. So bend your forearms at the elbows, and the forearms come down to the floor behind you. And then relax. You can also have straight arms behind you. Lots of options here. And I'm going to get up. If you haven't got into it and you're just not sure what I'm talking about, so once you get into position, into a comfortable position for you, your arms will come back like this or straight up. And you want your feet on the wall. And head is either on the bolster or coming off your bolster onto your blanket. There we go. And finally, arms come up into a goalpost position. It can also be out in a T. So this is a form of supported bridge. And if you don't have a wall available, if you're familiar with supported bridge, you can go ahead and do that. You take your bolster horizontally across your mat, sit on it with bent knees, come down onto your elbows, and then let your body be in a bridge pose. So knees bent, and coming down from your hips so the head is on your mat. And you can ponder, what am I making space for? If this begins to feel like a bit much in your low back, just go ahead and bend those knees, and that should take some pressure off the low back. An invitation to go ahead and do that same breathing pattern we started with, where we inhale through our nose and then make that hissing sound as we exhale. Inhale. Exhale with a ss. Inhale. Exhale with a ss. Keep on going. Notice how when you inhale, you're making space in your body. And as you exhale with that sound, you're letting go. Maybe it's letting go of negative energy. Maybe it's letting go of grief that's just been holding you back. Maybe it's letting go of sadness that is doing the same thing, something you've been holding on to too tightly. And you know it's time to let that go. Last couple of breaths here. Go ahead and take your arms down. Bend your knees. Take your feet over to either side. Lift your hips and go ahead and remove that bolster. Maybe you want to put it horizontally across your mat. We're moving into our final pose, Savasana. And I am going to hold time for you. Come into the Savasana that feels best in your body. Begin to let your breath slow down. I'll share again the quote I shared at the beginning. Ain't no shame in holding on to grief, as long as you make room for other things too. And as you are here in Shavasana, if you need something to anchor yourself, I'm going to offer the affirmation, I am open to letting go. Invitation to stay in Shavasana as long as feels right to you. And if you're moving on into the rest of your day, just take your attention back to the intention you set at the beginning of this practice. I offered letting go and physically just opening through our chest and our heart, creating more space in our body. And again, scan your body from your feet, to your knees, your hips, your lower back, your belly, your upper back, your chest, and shoulders, hands, wrists, elbows, neck, and your head. Notice anywhere you're holding on to tension. Ask yourself what you need to do to let go of that tension. And allow your breath to deepen. And give yourself a big high five for showing up today and getting on your mat. Taking the time to take care of you so you can take care of everybody else in your life. And begin to take any small movements you need. Come back into this moment now. And slowly, in your own time, your own way, find yourself up into a seated position. Eyes closed if that feels safe. Inhale, bring the palms of the hands together in front of your heart, slightly bowing over your heads. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be free from pain and suffering. And may you be open to letting go. And begin to blink your eyes open, taking in your mat, allowing the hands to fall softly onto your knees or lap. And before you go today, I have one last thing. I've done this in every video in this series. We're going to do calming points for the metal element, for grief, for sadness. And all these things I have shared with you, for the most part, I think all of them probably, are based on Donna Eden's energy work. And no, I am not a Donna Eden energy practitioner, so take it with a grain of salt. But to calm your metal element, take your hands to the middle of the top of your head. You can do this laying down if you're still in Savasana. Feels very nice when you're laying down. And just inhale and exhale and hold this for about 3 minutes, 1 to 3 minutes. We'll do a couple minutes right here. Notice if you feel anything beneath your hands. It can be a light touch on top of your head. No need to press too hard. You feel some pulsing, some tingling, some sensation. Maybe you feel it in your palms. Last couple of breaths here, or stay as long as you like. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking time to practice with me. As I've been going through and creating these sequences at the wall, I had the thought that this might be a good series to revisit at some future date, going through all the elements and their associated emotions and doing it not at the wall. So giving you alternate practices. If that's something that interests you, just drop a yes in the comments below. I would love to know what you feel about that. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to practice with me again, go ahead and click the bell and click subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me today.